Hello, my good people. Thank you for tuning in to In the Paint podcast. I'm your co-host, Jeff Walker.
And I'm Casey Gutting. What up?
Hey, we're excited to have you guys rock with us the entire time. But Casey, they have to know where to find us.
Yeah, you guys can find us on all the usual spots: Spotify, iTunes, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at In the Paint Podcast. We'd also like to quickly give a shout out to our executive producers, Mr. Nick O'Connell and Mr. Bill Boyd. They made this thing happen.
And because they made it happen, we're going to give it all to y'all. So tune in and enjoy. Peace.
All right, welcome to In the Paint. Another great episode coming at you now live from the COVID-19 studios. I am Casey Gutting. With me, as always, is my man, Jeff Walker. Jeff, what up?
Casey, what's up, the good brother, man? How you doing? You maintaining over there in West Hollywood?
I'm good. I got all kinds of disinfectants and Purell. I'm strapped.
I mean, I was going to throw my mask on, but I feel like I have no one that's ever been in my loft. I'm here at the In the Paint podcast studios in good old Koreatown, Los Angeles. So, you know, I feel you with the Lysol, the rubber gloves, and all of that. It's crazy times right now, brother. It's crazy times.
It's real. It is crazy times, and I'm glad everybody's doing well. We've also got an incredible guest. We're blessed today. An Olympian, a fashionista, just an all-around badass woman. Lindsey Berg is here. What's up, Linz?
Hey guys, thanks for having me. I guess I'm in my studio in TTLA Arts District, keeping it lofty and, you know, just hanging out over here.
Hello, that's a fantastic description. Like, I'm just keeping it lofty, baby.
Keep your head in the sky. This is a good thing.
Yeah,
We got to stay positive in these times.
That's right. Got to stay positive. Well, why don't we kick this thing off real quick? Let's just get into it. We're going to jump into rapid fire questions just to kind of start things off. You good with that, Linz?
Yeah, I'm never good at this, but I will do my best.
All right, here we go. Ready? Let's start the clock. First one, Jordan or LeBron?
Jordan.
Jodeci, Boys to Men.
Jodeci.
Motown or Bad Boy?
Motown.
Versace or Gucci?
Gucci.
Hawaii or California? I don't know how to say Hawaii the right way.
Hawaii, I guess.
You don't sound real confident about that, but that's okay.
No,
Tough one.
City or the beach?
Both.
No, city.
Love
Oh, both. Okay. Hey.
Both. Love it.
Hawaii has both.
Very true.
Yes,
That's
it
a
does.
push.
That's true. That's a push. Big Ten or Pac-12?
Big Ten. Come
Not a
on.
girl.
NYC or LA?
Tough, but NYC, I think.
Even during COVID, NYC. Babyface or Teddy Riley?
Babyface.
I love it. Love it.
That's
That's
beautiful.
rapid fire. I love it. That's rapid fire with Lindsey Berg.
You know I
Don't.
watched the last two, so it's easy, Babyface.
I know.
Cool, calm, and collected.
All of that, because that was, you know, we'll get there. We'll get there over the course of the show.
Yeah, most
Cheers
definitely.
to you guys.
Yeah, cheers to you, Linz, and cheers to everybody out there on the pod waves listening. I hope you're all doing well.
I mean, it's beautiful that you're able to make time for us, because for those people listening, like Lindsey Berg's a three-time Olympic volleyball player. Girl, she started her first Olympic volleyball, I guess, yeah, the first time you went was Athens, correct? If I'm not crazy?
Yeah,
Athens in 2004, Beijing 2008, and then in 2012, close it out in London. So because, look, I know you as a tremendously active person, from entrepreneurship with all the businesses that you're currently involved in to starting the Corey project. But like right now, because of the situation that we're in as a global community, like how are you staying busy right now?
To be honest, there's so much I can be doing, from whether it's just personal maintenance, I guess you could call it, of whether it's the house that I'm living in, and things you can always do here, whether it's working on things just internally and personally, whether it's diet and still working out and those types of things, or anything mentality wise. But as far as business, some of you don't know, but I am involved in a gym. I'm a partner in a gym that is closed down right now. So that obviously I'm suffering from that, as far as, we had to furlough our employees, and all of our clients are really sad that they're not in there. So that really is tough for me. But on the personal front of my business, the Core project that I'm doing, it's really allowing me to spend a lot of time on that. And for those who don't know, it's a digital content platform for young athletes out there, particularly volleyball players at the moment, and hopefully it will expand in the future. But it's just really bringing these young athletes closer to people that they can aspire to be like, have heroes, have role models, idols that are current professionals in the volleyball circuit, I guess you would say. And so it's really allowing me to dig into what's really important to these young girls. How can I really relate to them through the content that I'm producing? How can I get them to understand how important it is to learn from these current professionals, because they've been through everything that these young women are going through, or these young girls that are going through right now. So I have a lot of time to do that. I'm hopping on Zoom calls with club volleyball teams. I'm doing webinars, hosting webinars with some of the national team members that this movement called Volley On is putting together, where a bunch of club executives got together of how we can continue to push the sport and help these young players while they can't be on the actual court. So I'm keeping busy.
So
Yeah.
that sounds like a lot.
Yeah, that sounds like there's a lot going on. That's pretty incredible. What would you say, kind of like adding on to that, what do you think is your favorite part of what you're doing right now in COVID? Like, what's the favorite thing that you've done during this time, and what's like the thing that you've done that you're really proud of right now, using your time wisely?
It has to for sure be the Core project, and having these webinars, and finally also launching, I guess it would be called kind of a launch video, where I'm actually in front of the camera and speaking about why I did this. I don't necessarily love to be in front of the camera. Even in the sport, I was a setter, and it's kind of like a behind the scenes role. Even though you're on the court, you more so are assisting people and never getting that last point or getting that recognition always. So I'm always used to being kind of behind the scenes, and I chose to do this one video to really express of why I chose to do this project, how much it means to me. And I'd say that that was the biggest thing I did, because it got over 6,000 views. And to me, that's huge, because we're only at 3,000 followers on Instagram at the moment. So my engagement is really good. We finally have people sharing my story and sharing the project, and I think we have a little momentum. So hopefully I'll be able to reach out to some other media channels during this time and use that video to maybe get some more interviews, or I don't know, have them share some of my content would be my goal.
Yeah.
That's absolutely awesome to get that many views. Like, the engagement, obviously everybody knows on Instagram, and as long as you're getting people engaged, is everything, being able to track that. And so people can actually understand your story, because your story is absolutely incredibly dynamic. And I think, it gets lost in the shuffle, because people forget that, look, the Olympics are every 4 years, understandably so. And that's where in U.S., we get so many highlights at that period of time about our great athletes who are either abroad playing or whatever it might be. And this year, with things kind of pivoting and shifting, it's a little bit crazy. So for your story to get out there, to talk kind of that Olympic story, as well as how you're using your platform to engage other volleyball players and the global community behind that, which is really about a team of how you guys can still impact the youth of the world around the sport. It really ties into what we're all trying to deal with right now with this COVID situation anyway, from the global community. I kind of want to take a step back, because there's a couple people that I just want to shout out that help in your making who you are. And some of my favorite people, because I actually was on D Nice's club quarantine, and I shouted out Mama Berg and Dennis Berg in the comment section, how are Mama Berg and Dennis Berg doing? And I want to talk about your sister too, but how are Mama Berg and Dennis Berg doing?
Yeah, my parents are amazing. Fortunately, everyone is healthy in my family, or even anyone like close to our family and friends, to be honest. So very fortunate in not being impacted in that way, which I know many people are with loved ones actually getting sick. So they're good. They're in Santa Barbara. Not much has changed other than my dad can't go and play bridge. He has to play it online with his friends. My mom's travel back to Hawaii and to see my sisters slow down, obviously. And but they're doing good, and they're always great and supportive. I told my mom about D Nice because that's the music I grew up on, most what he plays and what they listen to. And I was like, you guys are going to love this. It's amazing. And ever since I told her, every time she sees him on live, because she didn't even know what live was. So I had to, talk her and how to figure that out. But every time she's there, she sends me a picture. I'm right here. Marvin Gaye's on. She's like, we love our Marvin, all of that. So I was pretty impressed that she saw Jeff's comment, because even before I texted her the comment, she had seen it. But she's like, I had to kind of figure out who that was initially. But she figured it out.
She's like, who is G-Walk LA? Who is this guy?
Totally. That's hilarious.
So they're doing great. And obviously why you brought it up is they were a huge part of just the support that I had growing up of being a volleyball player, father being an athlete, mother being an athlete. And it's just their support level without pushing me too hard. I will speak about my dad, that he needs to do a master class course on this of how to be a coach and in that actual sport, and not push me too hard or not make me want to quit, or not too much pressure, and always supporting. So definitely they're a huge part of my career, and I couldn't have done it without them, for sure.
There's such a fine line too, I think, for parents, especially parents who were athletes, in coaching their kids, but then also like walking that line of like not pushing them too hard to make them hate what they're doing and turn it into a job at too young of an age. So that's pretty incredible that he was able to sort of like get through that, and it worked. Obviously, you're an Olympic athlete, you've done extremely well. So kudos to Pops.
Yeah, he sent a lot of emails to coaches, but we all got through it. I think my coaches respected him enough to just, let it go.
We need to get those printed up at some point, put those into a damn book of Dennis.
Yeah,
Berg.
right. The dad. Yeah, I love that.
A lot of parents can learn from that, I'm sure, because Dennis is a competitive dude, and Dennis actually sees things that a lot of people don't see. And I think for as a parent who, a lot of these parents have a hard time being objective, I think Dennis did a great job, and Mama Berg did a great job about being objective about what level their daughter can actually get to, and then them also letting people know, like, yo, our daughter's real, and not saying it because it's her daughter, but saying it because no, she's actually the most talented person on the damn court. So let's really go. Hey, how's Sis doing? How's Sis doing with Stanford and everything? I mean, it's got to be interesting with this whole recruiting classes and not being able to necessarily communicate in the same way or go visit kids and commitments and all of that. Like, how is Sis doing?
Yeah, Sis is good. She's actually at Santa Clara now. I think you remember.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's been there for a full season, and they did well, actually. And she says it's really interesting, to be honest. This was a time where they normally are traveling every weekend to recruit. This is when club volleyball is going on to the biggest time, qualifying for that junior national tournament in the summer. All of that is gone. They postponed and pushed the quiet period, so they can't really talk to anybody, to be honest, at the moment until the end of May. I think they pushed the quiet period. Every week they're having calls. The WCC, are we going to have a fall? What's it going to look like? NCAA is having calls with them. I think we know just as much as they know. I think it's tough. My sister low-key feels bad. She's at home not doing all the work she can do and still getting paid. And she's just like, I wish there was more I could do. And there really isn't more they can do. They can't talk to recruits. They only can talk to who's already committed and, those types of things. So how much can you work on, your playbook? Not for 2 months, So
Yeah, and and you can't even do individual workouts with people right now, I would imagine. You can't even be in the gym with them, I wouldn't think.
No, there's no gym at all. I mean,
Yeah.
all around the country, there's no gym at all, except maybe, Atlanta or Georgia just opened up. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, in Florida, apparently, you can just do anything you want.
But, they do what everyone's doing. They're having their Zoom calls. They're having their one-on-ones with the players. Who knows? Maybe their athletic trainer or physical coach is doing stuff, but I think it's hard for everybody. I think the sports world is really in question of what do we do? How is this going to move forward? Is this going to go into 2021? What is it going to look like? And I don't think anybody has the answers. So in general, she's safe, healthy, gets to spend a lot of time with her kids and family, which she doesn't always, especially at this point in time. So taking advantage of that, and we're all just, trying to get the positives out of all this.
I think, it's great that your sister's doing well. I mean, it's all this new normal for us. We're all trying to figure it out in the sports world. One, I think, was a leader early in the understanding for the world to understand how serious this was by canceling games, immediately not canceling seasons, but stopping playing and then trying to figure out, okay, how do we postpone it? And then how do we come back online? So I think the sports world is going to lead us back into as well when it's time to kind of get back to a sense of normalcy. With that, and I think part of what I find and is really amazing what you're doing with the Corey project is it's communication and it's connecting, with people who and women who are extremely talented volleyball players at the highest level of USA Volleyball, and then getting those young people to have a relationship with them, be it digitally, So in a strange way, this is almost like a crazy beta test to really find a way for us to learn how to communicate at our highest form by only being through an iPhone, an iPad, or a computer of sorts. So, tell us kind of, to bring it back, tell us a little bit about, the idea behind Corey and how it is supposed to be this platform that's used as kind of a mentorship between youth volleyball players and, more senior, the Olympics, the professional volleyball players. And, kind of wrap it, I guess, all together in the mission to how it's going to work in this new world.
Yeah, I'd say hopefully everyone will go check it out and maybe see my video, or maybe you guys can post that as well.
We'll
talks
definitely
about it
post
a little bit more. But the main mission, I'd say, is really to share stories, and through the stories of all of these professional athletes, they can educate and inspire. Because I really believe that every player has a story, and normally it's a different story from the next one and two over and this one to my left. And as every young athlete has a story or a journey that they are currently in. And I believe that one athlete over there will be able to inspire this group because they have something that sticks, that seems familiar to them. Who knows? They didn't grow up with a father, or they played 5 different sports and volleyball was their last one to play, and or who knows, whatever it is, or they were 6'3" at 10 years old, or they didn't grow until they were in the 9th grade. Whatever that story is, when I was growing up, I was lucky. In Hawaii, it was the biggest sport in Hawaii, and I got to watch the college team, and we knew their names, and it's a small place. But other than that, I didn't know who was on the Olympic team, really. I didn't know who was on the national team, and that has been the same problem even when I played. Nobody knows who I am. I can still walk through a volleyball gym with 14,000 teams, and maybe some of the coaches will know who I am. And I don't find that bothering because I want to be famous. I find that bothering because I think I could inspire and motivate and be a mentor to so many people through my story. So really, that's what I'm trying to do. It's not a site about who won this game or any news in particular to volleyball. It's not showing skill set. It's not showing how to do this or that on the court. It's really talking about the human, the person, of how they overcame this, how they handled that, how did they get recruited, what did they do, what was hard, what was easy, how did you deal with your parents, like all of that. That's what it's about. And I want them, all these young girls, to, in 2021, the women walk on the court and they know everybody's name. And they're actually cheering for somebody they feel like, oh, she went through this in her childhood, like I'm going through, or this and that. And I just think that would be really special. And our sport has never had that. There aren't kids out there that have a Michael Jordan, a LeBron, or Kobe as an idol, or it just hasn't happened. And I'm trying to change that.
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, I think that's such a terrific kind of avenue to take with it too, because you're right. There isn't another way for any female athletes who want to play volleyball really to know who is playing at that level unless they watch the Olympics every 4 years. And other than that, the sort of the narrative kind of like drifts away. So I think what you're doing with Corey is brilliant, and it's gonna help tenfold with athletes and young female athletes all over the place. Kind of talking about the Olympics, like let's sort of like transition into that, since this was supposed to be an Olympic year. Let's sort of like we'll kind of get to what do you think, like how would you handle the current situation if you were going into the Olympics and they postponed it for a year? But then before we get into that, how would you be preparing right now if, say, the Olympics were in a couple of months and you were going back? Like, walk us through a little bit of like the training and like the getting ready to actually like take the court and play for Team USA.
For sure. Let's start with your second question, I guess, first, because right now all of the women are still supposed to be overseas at their teams, and they all luckily got back before all of the shutdowns. So they really, with all the communication from the United States and with whatever country they were in, Italy, Turkey, Russia, they really had to make sure they could get back once they figured out, like, this is really crazy what's going on. I think the craziest part was there were 9 girls in Italy that I'm in communication with that were locked down in their apartment for almost a month. And they were still practicing, but then they wouldn't let them do anything else for a while. And then practice got canceled because Italy was on lockdown, and they had to make sure they got back to the States. So they all got back to the States, fortunately, but they're not with the national team. So normally they'd be finishing their season in Europe back end of April, top of May at the latest, because it's an Olympic year, and they'd head back to Anaheim is where they train and go through a normal summer pretty much, because every summer we have certain tournaments. It's called the VNL. It's a 5-week tournament. It's insane. Every week is in a different city. It's the longest, very difficult thing. That happens every summer. And then there's some small little regional tournaments. And then obviously they'd be preparing for the Olympics. So that's what it would have looked like. And the team probably, now I hear they pick the team a month in advance. When I was playing, it was 2 weeks in advance before the Olympics.
Yep, there we go. Now we're back. We lost you there for a second.
That. Yeah. Can you hear me? Okay. I'll repeat that. Now they're all at their respective homes. Some do live in California, close to Anaheim, and some are where they're from, because there's no practice and there's no date of when they will practice. The FIVB, which is the International Volleyball Federation, has pushed all the tournaments as of now, and they don't know. So I think the thing about volleyball that they're lucky, or nothing's going to change, is they're not going to change. They're all qualified already. All of the teams are already qualified, unlike track and field, or unlike an individual sport that they're still not qualified for the Olympics. So they're qualified, and that won't change. So, I probably think that they're going to chalk up this summer, and everyone's going to go to their respective teams or who they signed with professionally, if that league goes on or whatever happens with that, and then they'll just come back together next summer and prepare for it. That's my guess.
Thank you for all that detail in that.
Yeah, that's incredible.
The fact that they got back right before the lockdown happened, especially with the 9 young ladies that were over in Italy as well. And now they're at home, and, they're trying to stay active and stay mentally, prepared. But now, if there's no Olympics till next summer, kind of staying ready is still a big part of things. How would you guess their mental state has been through this process, and how do you think they're feeling right now? When you're really normally winding down your professional season and you're starting to gear up for something that's overly exciting to represent your country. How are they doing mentally?
Uh, well, first of all, I couldn't even imagine. As I approached my last Olympics, I was like, I can't wait for this to be over. Just I had knee problems and different things. Like I didn't know if I could have made it another year. You know what I'm saying? So, in general, I do believe, and the ones that I've talked to, that everyone is actually very different because a lot are in very different situations. There's one that's going for her third Olympics. There's another going for her third Olympics that had a baby, and this whole year is going to help her get back because she wants to make her third Olympics. There's a couple that thought they had it locked down for their first Olympics, and who knows, someone else can come in the picture.
Yeah.
So I think everyone is really different. And I think they're really working it out themselves and through their head, and obviously talking with coaches, talking to teammates. But I don't think it's easy, whatever situation they're in, other than ones that like needed a break because they've been going hard. And a lot of them were complaining to me last year, like they're going too hard. And I'm like, you guys, this is what we did too. Like, why are you complaining? But that's another story.
Old school. That's
But
how.
Yeah, that's
School.
like,
so I think everyone's different, and the ones I've talked to, they're working it out, and I'm trying to keep them busy. I'm like, well, lots of time to do some core content, you guys, and and it's just interesting. Everyone, reacts differently. Everyone is in a different situation. Some are younger and back home after, who knows, they haven't lived at home for a while, and they're back home because they yet have to have their own home,
yeah.
and some are enjoying it. I think it's tough, and I think they're all really figuring it out themselves and dealing with it to their best ability. I think the worst thing is the unknowns, and they're all unknowns. They don't know if they'll practice again with USA before they go back overseas. Some probably are in question of their contracts because the economic issue, even overseas, are they going to pay as much as they used to, and all of these things. So
What do you think
overall, yeah.
if you were in this situation? What do you think you'd be doing as far as like training goes? Like, how would you be training right now? And like, because you can't get into a gym, you can't get with other people necessarily. So, like, just off the top of your head, like, what do you think you would be doing to sort of try to maintain that professional level as much as possible right now?
Yeah, just be eating correctly, I think is huge. You're not able to, no matter how much you like lift, in general, you're doing like a lifting workout with the national team for an hour maybe. So it's the time like but you're on the court maybe for like 4 to 5 hours a day. So it's like, it's very different with like how much you're moving just in general. Even if you go and get like a good hour to 2 hour workout in, it's still not like playing volleyball and being on the court like playing pickup basketball. There's nothing like
Yeah.
running back and forth. You can't even like prepare for that.
Game shape.
So I think a lot
Yeah,
is
game shape.
nutrition. A lot of nutrition. If someone has an injury, it's a lot of like physical therapy type to build those muscles back, or rest as much as you can of the issue that you have, and then strength as well. And I'm sure their strength trainers giving them specific things. I'm sure somehow they've been provided with equipment or been told to find equipment to use. And at that point, that's all they can do. To be honest, if they have a ball and a wall, you can try to
Yeah.
practice your skills. But at that point in time, your skills are kind of your skills. I mean, bumping against the wall isn't helping an Olympian or a national team player that much. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
think it's more about your mental and like your actual physical as far as health, nutrition, recovery, all of those things.
Like your physical health and your mental preparedness, I would imagine that. Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about that's. I mean, this has been great. Like, I'm just loving the whole Olympic talk and really getting in the mind
Mhm.
state of what the current roster as it stands might look like, and the dynamics between all of them having kind of their little different narratives of how they're going to get through this process now having to be pushed. That was very insightful. So thank you for that. But now let's get deep into you. Like, I really want to go back to 2004. first Olympics. Walk us through that process. Walk us through the challenges a little bit. Tell us the good, the bad, and like the excitement of making it, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, 2004 Olympics was awful, but I'll take it back. Well, first, I think I should even bring it back to how I even got a chance to try out.
Yeah, let's
I
talk about the
pretty
chance.
much
Yeah.
in high school, I had a chance to try out for, they call it the junior national team or the youth national team. I was 14 or 15. I don't think I was 16 yet, but we were like the best team in the country in Hawaii. And me and this other girl got a tryout and we went, and by far I was like the most skilled setter, which was my position, volleyball IQ, all of this. And she was great. She was a setter and a hitter, and we were like killing it. I mean, killing it in this tryout. And we laughed thinking for sure. And I don't really say that out loud, but I can understand the skill level. I played a lot of volleyball. We get back to home to Hawaii, and they tell us we don't make it. They said we're too undersized. Who knows? So I was maybe 5'4" then, maybe. She was maybe 5'6", but we were good. So they told me that they took a 6'2" person in my position, and that I just wasn't tall enough. And really, that's about it, And I was like, man, F you. You're telling me that you need whatever, USA Volleyball, done. I didn't even want to try out ever again if I got asked. In college, they're like, do you want to go try out for the college team? I'm like, no, I'm good. I just don't want to go and get my hopes up and be great and then know that they're not going to take me because I wasn't an All-American or I wasn't on a top 4 team or whatever it was going to be. So I had a great career, I guess, at University of Minnesota. And I graduated early, and 1 year they had a USPV. The 1 year was a professional league, 4 teams. One happened to be in Minnesota because there's a lot of good volleyball there. And I went late to them. I got drafted to them and joined them after New Year's. And it was January, February, March. Three months I'd be there. And I had to beat out 2 other setters from Big Ten teams, and we won the championship. And just so happens that the assistant coach was also the assistant coach for the national team at the moment. So Kevin Hambley personally told the head coach that he had to give me a tryout. So if I wouldn't have gone to Minnesota, if I wouldn't have played on the Minnesota Chill, good name, I probably would have never.
It just snowed there.
Yeah, right. Doesn't it snow all the time in Minnesota?
Yeah. Prince wrote a song about it.
Snowing, but it is quite chilly. So
yeah.
So he talked him into it. He's like, okay, Lindsey can come for a tryout. She's got to pay her way for the tryout. If she makes it past 2 weeks, then we'll reimburse her for her travel. So after New Year's, it was a little time. So he didn't want to see me until this different period of where college girls or girls that are done with college come in a January training period, while the senior national team is off playing professional. So I went January of 2003, and slowly but surely just beat them out. So that was my journey to even get to try out for the yes.
Did you keep a list of names of people that you were going to beat out?
Yeah, is there a hit list? Do we still have a hit list somewhere?
Yeah, it wasn't a hit list. I just went out there and
Mamba.
I just did what I could. Let's just put it that way. I controlled what I could control.
Mental list.
And when it came the time, well, first of all, it was awful. We practiced 8, 10, 9 hours a day. We had a Japanese coach. It was a lot. I was unhappy. I was like, is this what this is like? I was like, there's no way that people train this much. And we lived in dorm rooms. I lived in a bunk bed as a adult, walked down the hall to shower with my little shower basket.
Shower caddy.
I mean, my roommate was 29, I think. I was 22, but she was 29. I'm like, are you serious? Is this how we all are about to live and continue to live
grown-ass people living in dorms. That's a rough one.
Yeah. So when it came to time, actually, by the time they told me I made it. I could figure out that I'd made it. Like I said, sometimes there's a core group that continues to travel to the best tournaments, and it's kind of like, you're gonna make it. So they announced it or brought me in, and I knew I'd made it, and I was like, okay, cool. I'm happy, excited that it was finally announced. And the assistant coach like pulls me aside after. It was like, are you excited about this? Because you pretty much look like just like poker face, straight face. And I was like, yeah, I'm excited, but I already knew I was going. And he's like, oh, that's good confidence.
You're like, I knew.
Like
I'm already packing my bags. I'm good.
That's Bergie.
Yeah.
That's Bergie as a whole, though. Straight poker
That's like
face. You don't necessarily
gangster.
know her vibe.
Just gangster.
Like, she knows she's good. She knows she's good. It's that quiet confidence. That's a beautiful thing. No, it's
question.
Awesome.
Stop. Do you want me to turn a light on now? Since
see what happens if you turn the
down?
light on. Yeah, because it got super dark behind you.
Yeah. It's just the sun went down and my house is powered by. Is that better? It's not.
Yep, that is.
Oh yeah, that is. Yeah,
that is good.
It's not
That's
very.
good. It's good.
Okay.
That's a lot lighter. And this is we'll figure how we edit this out. But so did I ever tell you? Did I tell you my U.S. national soccer team story? Under 16. So I'm down in Dallas, right? Because I was nice. Like I was this one sport that I'm like, I'm not even confident about basketball.
Side note: Jeff Walker was nice at soccer.
Yeah, all American, man. Soccer, I was good. My brother was good too. So I make the regional team as a 15 and a half year old. And the regional team is like 15 states throughout the Midwest. So I'm like one of the top 12 players. I played stopper, center, halfback, right? So they call it pool games. So, you travel throughout the year, you're getting invited to different things as you keep on progressing. I kept on getting invited to the next level. So my head coach was Jim Launder. I might have mentioned this before, Jim Launder, who was at University of Wisconsin, which was one of the top soccer programs in the country at the time. And so I make it down to the nationals tryouts against all the different regions. So your East Coast, your South team, your West Coast team, and then the Midwest. And I was killing. I get invited to the final, they call it pool games. I get invited to the final pool game. I'm 100% sure I'm making a national team as a 16-year-old. I'm 6'4". I run the airways and crazy foot skill. My skill work was crazy. So, and I was way better at soccer than I was basketball. But so then my dad gets a call from Coach Launder. Coach is like, Jeff didn't make the final pool game. The reason why I didn't make the final pool game was the exact opposite, Lindsey, as to why you didn't make your pool game. I did not fit the stereotypical size and the look of what they wanted on the U.S. national team back in the early 90s, which was 5'10", 5'11".
Like a dude who looked like me.
Yeah. Crazy enough, their concern was like that I just didn't look the part of what they had in their mind as to what a soccer player should be doing for the U.S. national team at that period of time.
That's crazy.
So you got invited back after college. I chose to go play basketball instead. So my soccer career is done after high school. But looking back on it now, after listening to your story, I'm laughing because the only reason why I didn't keep on doing it is because I just chose to go play a different sport. The school that I went to go to college to, I had an offer to go to Wisconsin to play. I chose not to go to Wisconsin to play soccer. I was done with it because I was so like, fuck you, because my coach to the team said, Jeff, you should be on the national team. So I was like, fuck soccer. Right. And I was jaded of that shit every single day from that. But the one thing I regret, like the only regret I have, man, is not going on to play college soccer.
Yeah. That brings up sort of an interesting, like a little side question. So if I was to ask you guys, what other sport would you have played? Like if volleyball hadn't happened, or like what is there another sport that maybe you were better suited for, Lindsey, than volleyball, or like something that you loved that you just like stopped because volleyball was the thing?
Yeah, I played competitive tennis till I was 15, and like going to tournaments and like inter-island tournaments, and my mom was a tennis player, so those were like my two main sports. And when volleyball got more and more like, what do you got to do in spring break? You got to travel with that team, or what the summer's like. I kind of had to pick volleyball at some point in time. And I think I also didn't have as much confidence as in like I could get a college scholarship for tennis, to be honest, but I was
Yeah.
still pretty good. But that was my other main sport other than just playing basketball for fun in high school, just as to play another sport.
Yeah.
So tennis probably would have been it. Yeah. I'd
Yeah.
say
dope.
I
tennis.
could see
I didn't know that.
see you out there like Steffi Graf action.
Straight up. Straight up.
Just yelling and screaming at people.
That's
Right.
world's
That was
longest
very,
reach.
it was
Her reach.
right,
reach
Yeah.
exactly.
Right? Yeah, with the long arms, you
Her
would have
serve
killed it.
game must have been, and your serve volley game. Whew.
That's all I had, to be
Well, and
honest. I was
that
really good at returning.
covering the court, the baseline to baseline. Is that what it's called in tennis? Is baseline the covering?
Mhm.
Oh, you would have killed
Yes, baseline, kill it, sideline to sideline, and then
Mhm.
Yeah,
her
there you
serve
go.
volley game. Her serve volley game would have been crazy. Thank you for all the background on that. That's dope. So
Yeah.
let's jump back in, and we can we'll take that and use that as behind the scenes extra footage of
Yeah,
my
like
facility
halftime stuff. That's great.
and random stuff. So talk about Greece. Give us some Greece love.
Grease
Because we got the
love.
feel of how you made it. Or you can be or it can be Grease hate.
Yeah, no, the truth about Greece.
2004
Have to be the word.
Olympics almost,
Speaking of
2004 Olympics almost made me quit volleyball. Not, let's just say, the Olympics, but kind of everything about it. Like I said, I was like, oh, do I want to continue to train 8 to 9 hours a day? We got to Greece and we had some of the best individuals in the world on the team, and we weren't a great team, so we ended up not even medaling when we could have won and should have won because we just had a lot of issues personally within members of the team, team to the coach, just a lot of stuff. And we ended up losing in 5 sets to Brazil in the quarterfinals, which should have been the gold medal match. But we ended up losing an 8 a.m. match to Dominican Republic that made us end up 4th in our pool and have Brazil crossover. And, our coach didn't make any subs, and not everybody's going to play their best match all the time. You know what I mean? But there's 12 people on the Olympic team that have made it and are the best 12 people supposedly in the United States. I think substitutions should happen. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong when somebody is not having their best match or maybe couldn't wake up for an 8 o'clock game. You know what I mean? But
It's early.
I was just gonna ask about that. Like, that's something people don't think about with the Olympics. Like an 8 a.m. game in the Olympics, I would be trash. I'd be trash.
Trash. Same here.
Well, yeah, there's because it's 12 teams, so you got 2 pools of 6. So they have to play their 6 matches in a day. So they have to start at 8 a.m. because the next day is the men's, and we go women, men, and all the games have to be played. So it's 8 a.m. and the last one is either 8 p.m. or 10 p.m. I forget. So
Man.
we lost to a team that we've beaten probably at that point in time 35 times in 4 years, and just put us in a bad position against Brazil, unfortunately, and put us in a bad position with each other of how we felt about each other, and just like ended. It was awful. I think,
Great. So let's go to Beijing then.
All right, so we'll fast forward. Let's fast forward 4 years to Beijing.
4 years.
Beijing was dope, and it worked out well. So let's talk about Beijing.
But I didn't quit. And I went to Italy. Just I was gonna quit, and I got an offer to Italy, and then that's history. Stayed in Italy. The Quarter Project was born. 2 more Olympics. So, anyways, I didn't end up quitting, which I almost did.
Yeah.
Hold it. So you were going to quit volleyball in general, or just the Olympic national team?
Volleyball in general.
So you were at the point where you're like, I'm done with this. Like, I'm going to go do something else completely.
Yeah, well, also because I hadn't yet experienced overseas yet, I chose to stay in Colorado Springs to make my first Olympic team rather than going and playing professionally before. I wanted to prove it. I wanted to stay and train. I wanted the coach to know I was committed. If I had this chance, I was going to make the Olympic team and at least give myself every shot. So I could have left after the first 6 months there with the question of, does he like me? Am I good enough? This or that. Go get a little bit of money. I would not have had a great contract because I wasn't yet an Olympian, or, and then come back and be like, is he even going to invite me back? Because every summer you might not get invited back.
Yeah.
So I chose to stay in
Yeah.
Colorado Springs for a year and a half before my first Olympics.
What years were you in the Springs? You were there like 03?
Yeah, January of 03 until 2004 Olympics. So end of July,
that
whatever.
whole year.
And then after that, we're there every summer.
So
they moved us to Anaheim.
Basically,
we definitely saw each other in the Springs. Lindsey and I have talked about this before. Like I would say there's a 95% chance that
Rum
I
Bay?
was like, come on, Rum Bay. That was the one with like the 4 stories, right? Like the giant
15C was our favorite. The Martini bar.
15C was dope. Jeff, it was like a speakeasy before speakeasies were cool.
I know. And, it was like the first.
It was like the first one I'd ever seen in real life that wasn't on a movie. And it was like in this alley, and it was like an apartment that this dude had knocked walls down in. And it just said like an apartment, 15C.
Apartment 15C.
Yeah, and you would roll into it, and they had a cigar bar and like a dope lounge and a dope bar, and it was like for people who wanted to do Colorado Springs and like feel like they weren't in Colorado Springs, like 15C was the jam.
We used to buy Cuban cigars and take them back from the Cuban team and then sell them to 15C.
Gangster.
So we put the Cuban cigars in our laundry. So we'd bring like the Cubans like hair or shoes or gear, and then they'd give us a really cheap price on the Cuban cigars, and then we'd bring them back and sell them to 15C.
That's amazing. That's unbelievable.
Hey, we want to edit that.
No, man, we're keeping that in. We're keeping that in.
Good. That's so good.
Dude, Colorado Springs, man. Colorado Springs are some wild times.
Because I'm laughing because one, Bergie, of course, is at the dope speakeasy that no one knows about called 15C. Because that's how she rolls anyway. Like, I walk a different path. I go to the dope shit that not everybody else goes to. Casey goes to the dope shit too. But first off, you were going to, what was the first spot that you named?
Rum Bay.
Rum Bay was just like the big, like a club.
It was the early 2000s like club spot.
There was another one across the street too.
The other one wasn't the other one like Tequila's or something like that?
Something, yeah.
Yeah, and like I remember the Tequila's place had like in the back corner there was like an ice bar, and like just like randomly in the bar, and like they froze the bar and they would put tequila shots on the bar, and that was like the shtick to this place. It was horrible. It was an awful idea.
All right, love that. Okay, so so great. You stay on. You don't stop. You get an offer to go to Italy, which then you move forward. Then at this point, you get invited back for the next summer. Blah 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 blah. Boom, Beijing, 2008. Right. Tell us about it.
Right, sure. There's so much in between that, but I won't share it at this moment. But yeah, Beijing. I'm pretty much splitting time with the other setter because 2017 I actually did quit. Another story for another time. But so I quit when I was captain and had the starting position. They talked me into coming back, and I knew that I might not have my starting position back, and who knows if I'll be captain, but came back. We go to 2018. We're not highly ranked. We're not expected to medal. You guys wanted
2008, right?
2008. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What did I say?
He said 2018. But
sorry. Fast forward. 2008.
Sorry,
2008. My bad. It's the cocktail. I'm
already in 2026.
You guys wanted this to be a really happy story, but it's a little sad before happy. So we're there in 2008. We have a new coach. I mean, we had her the whole quad, but she's the Michael Jordan in China, by the way. She's just as famous as Michael Jordan in China as a volleyball player. They called her the something hammer. She was like the best player in China for years. Jeez. She like can't walk down a street. I'm not even lying. So she was our coach. It was pretty cool to have a player coach. I got to figure out what something hammer. Yeah.
The hammer is such a hard nickname. Just like hammer.
But it's something. I feel like I want to Google it right now, but I won't. The iron hammer, possibly.
The Iron Hammer.
I might be making that up.
That's fine. Let's go with the
That's
Iron
so
So
good. I like the
we're
Iron
at the
Hammer.
Olympics. We're at the Olympics, underdogs. So we're taking a nap before our first match, and we get woken up, like knocks on our doors to wake up. It's nap time. Like we play Japan at like 8 p.m. So we're napping, and we get knocks on our doors, and we find out that one of our teammates from 2004, Wiz Bachman, she is currently and now married to Hugh McCutcheon, which I'll get into that, was our coach. But he was the coach of the men's team, and she was my teammate in 2004. Her parents had been stabbed at the Great Wall, or not the Great Wall, but one of the castles, one of the tourist spots.
I remember this story.
Wow, yeah.
I remember the story.
So they tell us that her dad passed away immediately. Mom is in critical condition. Wiz is okay. And that we just need to call all of our parents and like let them know, like, to be careful in tourist spots, this and that, everything. So we get that information before our first match. That's family. Like her family was like my family. They'd come to tournaments. Like they followed us when we played with her in 2004 and before that. So it hit our team pretty hard, and like we're all crying. We had to go into this match, and we pull that match out, and then we keep going, and we're in the quarterfinals against Italy. Italy's high ranked. That's when I had probably the match of my life. I got put in after we were down 2-0, came in, they made a substitution, and we won 5-5. So we headed to play in the semifinals. We beat Cuba in the semifinals, which we had been beating, and we made it to the gold medal match when we weren't even supposed to medal. Who knows what we were supposed to do, to be honest. And we fought Brazil hard, but we weren't supposed to win, and it would have taken a miracle, but we got silver when we weren't supposed to. So that was Beijing.
That's a beautiful story, though. But let me just quickly back up, because I just want the team meeting before you guys go play that game after you've heard this horrible news. Like how are you guys coming together? How are you guys supporting one another mentally? Like, how are you trying to lift each other's spirits? Or is it just like, let's go out here and let's win this one or like, what are you guys thinking?
It's a mixture of that. Initially, we're all very scared. Most of our parents are there. So they told us to get a hold of them and tell them, because no one really knew yet. It wasn't in the media yet. It was something that we were giving them news as well. So it's like, we're giving you this news, and then we're also being like, watch out. The guy ended up actually committing suicide after he did it. So it was very random situation.
I was just going to ask you what happened.
Mentally ill for sure. You know what I mean? He ended up like jumping off of the castle or something. So obviously we're scared for our parents. We're scared for our family. We're really worried about Wiz, our teammate, how she's doing. Is she okay? She's okay, but like how she just like lost a parent. And then, and then we're like, we got to play this game. So obviously we're going to play for the Bachmans, they were like, damn Lee. So yeah. And it wasn't any easier throughout the whole trip, but, the games were actually like helping us get through.
Yeah. And that's sort of what sports is sometimes, right? Is like the way to sort of focus after a tragedy, kind of like, what we were talking about earlier with all this COVID pandemic happening. Like sports will be the thing that sort of is like the barometer of like where we are as a society. And like sports does that. It's kind of incredible where like there's an incredible tragedy, and the way you get through it sometimes is by focusing yourself on competition and on playing a sport.
For sure.
Man, that's a tremendous story, and it's sad, and it's tragic. And as young women, the ability to focus yourselves, play for something in a sense greater than yourselves, and to do that over in Beijing, and you guys weren't expected to, go as far as you did, but you guys rallied together as a family and isolated yourselves probably as a family, and were able to have some extreme success. And, obviously Brazil was Brazil, but wow. That's it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but on top of that, the other crazy thing was her husband was the head coach of the men's team. So during that period of time, the assistant coach kind of like had to take over so he could like comfort his wife and wife's family. And then they end up winning gold.
Wow.
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
talk about out of tragedy, something incredibly positive happening. That's unbelievable.
Has anyone told this story? Like
I've never heard this before. Yeah.
Volleyball
that's
doesn't get the love.
yo, yo. This is fucking a story.
And then he ends up coaching us in 2012. He moves from the men to
Oh,
the
he
women.
came over and he coached you in London then.
Yeah.
Let's go to London then.
Wow,
But
let's talk about
by
London.
the way, that point though, yo, right here, right now, Bergie, that story needs to be told.
Yeah,
Like we got to
that's unbelievable.
That's crazy. But okay,
Yeah.
let's go to 2012 because wow, comforting. Boom, you're back. You're in London now. You're a three-time
I'm
Olympian.
not even
at this
in London yet, though. I'm not in London yet because I take a
Where you
year
at?
off to have a huge surgery after 2008 Olympics. Microfracture, lateral release, meniscus, all the above. I take a full year off. I don't recover quite well, and I blame that on myself. That was my first surgery. I can't say I did the therapy like I should have or would have right now.
Self-awareness.
But I come
Thank you. for that.
I come back in 2009. So they move us from Colorado Springs. We're in Anaheim now. Hugh McCutcheon's the coach now. I miss a whole year. And I come back and I say, I want to try, and I come back and there's all these new young girls and there's some of us back that I played with in 2008, but I'm like, damn, I'm like going to have to earn my spot, which I was used to, which is fine. But like, can this knee do it? Finally, I earned my spot. My knee hangs in there. I'm in a lot of pain probably throughout that whole quad, to be honest. But yeah, then 2012, I'm the starter, I'm the captain. We're killing the game. Like, yes.
Is that what they call it? Like the Olympic athletes only call it that, the quad, the 4 years in between? Is that like is that goes across all Olympians? Like, yo, it's the quad. So this is what we're going to do for the quad. Okay, that's dope. Okay, I never knew that. That's dope. That's some interesting insight.
Yeah, that's insight.
So I'm there, and I mean, we were killing it the whole summer leading up. I mean, we were good. We're number one in the world. We're good, killing it. Kill pool play, like run through people, run through the quarterfinal. Oh no,
I was up watching that.
Actually,
every time.
The last match in pool play, though, I get taken out, and I think I tore my Achilles. So I make them sub me out. Last game of pool play, we're already first in our pool. I feel this. I can barely. I'm like kind of hobbling to the net, but I wish you could see my feet because it's my left, so I can like kind of like run with my right. But I'm like, this does not feel right. I can't keep pushing this. Like I feel this like under my calf, real tight pull. Like I'm like, something's going on. So they take me out. We're already like winning. We finish out the match and I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to play again. Like really don't know. I'm sobbing because I'm like playing the best volleyball of my life. We are going to win gold, like all of this. So we have a full day off because we're every other. So we know I'm not going to play the quarterfinals. We're playing a team we know we can beat. Our second setter is great. Not even an option. Like we're not playing me that game for the quarterfinals. I didn't even like beg them. I knew my backup. We're good. We're good against the next team. So we're doing therapy, this and that. It comes to game day. Where they tell me, okay, so we can give you this shot where it's like just gonna numb the whole area. So we do an MRI, nothing's torn, but there's something going on with like under my calf, like high Achilles type of thing.
Jeez.
So they're like, hey, this is tough. We can do the shot, but the shot, we have to go in as we're ultrasounding it. And if we hit something, your whole foot could go dead. And I'm
Wow.
like, let's do
Wow.
the shot. Let's do
You're
the
like,
shot.
do it. I'm getting on the court. Do it.
I am playing in this Olympics. Like,
Yeah.
screw that.
So how did it feel?
They do the shot.
What's the
It felt
percentage though?
fine.
Did they give
Yeah.
you a percentage like they did in the Jordan thing? Like, look,
They were there like 90% yes, 10% no.
It
They
depends how
probably
bad
did. I can't
headache is.
remember.
Gangster. That's gangster.
So they do it. So I have like a day and a half to recover from it, the actual shot. So we win our quarterfinal match, knew it. I practiced some the day after, leading into the semifinals. I'm like, I'm ready. Let's do it. I can't say I was 100%, but I was okay. And we win that match. And then we play Brazil.
Was that the Bob Costas? That was the Bob Costas conversation,
no,
though, right?
Yeah,
that was 2008 Italy match.
No.
Yes.
No, I'm talking when Bob Costas called you the heartbeat. The heartbeat was London.
I think it was no.
No, I'm going to tell you why it is because
you knew me and you heard it.
Hold on, let me call Bob real quick. Let me get Bob on the phone.
I knew you. I was in a different relationship at the time, and I remember waking up in the morning to make sure that I was watching your game or your match, and that is when he called you the heartbeat and led us into that game. It's not even maybe. It's 2012.
Okay.
Sorry.
So we win. We beat Korea. And then we are in the obviously gold medal match, and we had dominated Brazil that quad, or at least the last couple years, and we win the first set 25 to like 12, and I'm like, oh shit, this isn't good. Brazil does not like to lose, and lose like that. Like, it was embarrassing. And I'm like going, like, all the rest of the team, we're like half vet, half rookie. And I'm like, I need to keep positive here, but I want y'all better be ready. This is not the Brazil that's about to come out anymore. And of course, they find our weaknesses. They're very experienced. They have probably 6 vets on the court or 5 vets on the court that has beaten us in the other Olympics, if you know what I'm saying. But so they started picking on our rookies, and we ended up losing, and we were supposed to win. And
that's next level competition right there. That's like years and years of experience coming out right there.
That also, and anything can happen in that one match. Super Bowl, NCAA championships. I wouldn't say NBA because they have like a series, but whatever is that just one game, one match. Yep. Anything can happen when you're at that level. Nobody is like from here to here.
Well, and when you see, and like you said, when you find a weakness in one game, you can exploit that for an entire game, and maybe they won't be able to make an adjustment, and you can steal that game.
Yeah, and it's not even necessarily weakness. We don't only play these teams during the Olympics. We play these teams every year over and over again. So everybody knows everybody. It just so happens to be the Olympics, but to us, it's just like really another tournament.
Right.
So it's not like we're playing a team for the first time. So it was interesting. But it was a great. Still with the silver, it was an amazing Olympics. Let me tell you, it was great.
Hey, silver medal ain't bad. I mean, that's you guys.
Oh,
that's
it
amazing.
is.
Yeah, right.
Silver medal was dope.
Silver medal is amazing.
I remember
where are the medals at right now? By the way,
they're actually hanging over there.
We might need to see those.
Yeah. Yo, can you go grab one real quick? Let's just give it a little.
This is an in the paint first, folks. We're doing a live medal release, gold or silver medal.
Sorry.
It's a tour. It's a tour.
Boom.
Oh,
look at
clinkety,
those things.
clinkety, clinkety.
They got some
2 chains.
They got some weight on them. Look at those things.
Bring those into the light for us, though.
Oh, those are great. There you go. That's cool.
Yeah, there we go. Wow.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Wow.
In the paint first, Olympic medals. Love it.
Wow. You screen grab
So
that?
they're
We
not
need to post that.
normally hanging there, to be honest. Normally they're in their little box, but I've been fortunate enough to do a couple like Instagram takeovers and some stuff for the Quarter Project. So they're out and about.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So okay. So look, your story. Thank you for that sharing the Olympics. Like, wow, that was just. It was thrilling. I felt like I was there with you. And for me, 2012, because we met. I want to say we met in 2010ish, and so to be able to support you from the United States and be able to root for you and waking up early to make sure we were awake to watch your matches and having myself a beer while we're watching your matches was absolutely incredible. And then I think when you got back, I remember you got back. I was in Vegas doing a trade show in the fashion world, and I remember you bringing your. You just came, and I remember you bringing your medal with us or with you, and then one of my guys who actually started one of the people who started kind of the high level boutique buying the right brands for Fred Siegel, a guy by the name of John Ashaya, who you met that time, and I was like, and you're just always so humble, like I literally was like, yo, John, we got an Olympian here in our trade show booth right now. Lindsey,
got a medal.
I need for you to pull out the medal. And John was like, John is John. John's like, girl, you better put that medal around your neck and walk around. So
I know, and either he made me do it or someone made me do it. Then like Soldier Boy wanted to put them on, Jim Jones wanted to put them on, Swiss Beats wanted to put them on. I was like, what is going on right now?
Like, I'm envisioning like walking around the club in Vegas with your medal, just like, what's up? Who wants to get me a drink?
It wasn't the club though. It was like in the trade show. I'm gonna find you these pictures.
Mandalay Bay. It was at Mandalay Bay in the trade show. It's the big trade show.
Massive.
That happens. Yeah, that happens all the time. And she brought it, and it's just so funny because Bergie is so humble, which is why she's dope. But it's also like every now and then it goes back to the whole statement, especially right now. Like, give your people flowers while they're still here. And that moment, you need to get your flowers because people aren't Olympians. People don't have medals that they're just rocking. They go buy their gold and all that other bullshit. Your ass has a medal representing the country of the United States of America. Like this less than 0.0001% saying that. It's badass.
It's a once in a lifetime opportunity to stand next to you while you're holding a medal. Like that, it's incredible.
I think I should put, I can give them to you, Casey, a little bit. You got that whole setup in the background.
I know. I feel like I could throw one there
for a little bit.
I'm good with that. We could do that. Maybe I can put them on borrow just for a minute.
No, they're dope. The weight of them, like that's what you got to like the weight of them. It's crazy. Like it's a beautiful weight to it. It's amazing. Yeah. I was just honored to be able to like throw it around my neck one time and, act like I won something. I didn't win shit.
On that note, why don't we take this thing out on a high note, right, Jeff?
Yeah, let's take it on another high note. Let's take it out on a high note. Yeah. Let's go back to like there's passions that Lindsey has that are just beyond. Yeah, her fashion game is ill. Just ill. Like she's ahead of the fashion game. Like you go to her loft. And what we're going to do is we're going to grab some still images. Like Lindsey, shoot us some stills of some of your favorite coffee table books to your bookshelf, which is dope, artsy, graffiti laden bookshelf that is ill, and it's got a bunch of fashion books on it. When you walk into her spot, the countertop is like ill. It's got fashion laid out on it. And then you got gold, you got medals in the background. Like, even look at
I was just gonna say, like, you can't see it because of the dark, but there's a basketball hoop right up on the wall behind her now.
But it's not even a basketball hoop though.
It's just dope.
It's like the snakeskin basketball hoop with like a gold rim as the accent.
Yeah, it's like if Snoop had a basketball hoop in his living room, that would be it.
No, it would not be it.
His would probably be Lakers.
Yeah, it would not be what hers is, and we're gonna get an image of that. It would not be that because Lindsey's elevation of how she has her loft. Like, she should have been a designer, architectural interior designer. She should have done that. As
Still
well.
could. Still can.
Fashion is incredible. But here's the thing.
Work.
Here's the thing. I've watched her, that little mini hoop that she has. She's going to send us a picture of it. I've watched her set. It wasn't even volleyball. What did you set into it? You set from like 20 feet.
Like a mini basketball.
It's like a mini basketball from 20 feet away in her loft from her patio and make it. It's the craziest shit I've ever seen. I've also been to Dave & Buster's where they have the basketball hoops. I'm shooting jumpers trying to beat her in some shit. We're down at Anaheim. We're at the Spectrum in Irvine. Sorry, Spectrum Irvine. Dave & Buster's Spectrum Irvine.
Yeah.
She's setting the basketball into the hoop. I've never seen that done before. The level of accuracy, which is why she was like voted the best setter multiple times throughout her career.
That's why Bob Costas calls you the heartbeat.
The damn heartbeat. So I got off a tangent because I was talking fast.
I love that. I love it.
But anyway, it is because she's dope. And
I'll send you guys some pictures.
Yeah, send some pics to the crib.
What are you listening to now musically? What are you listening to now musically? What's going on? Tell us about the music.
I mean, right now we just, put on a D Nice, or my boyfriend Al is quite the DJ, but it's always most old school. Everything that you'd like, G-Walk. He's pretty good at it.
It's all the good stuff. I got an old soul, or I just got a good soul. I won't even say old.
It's a lot of old stuff. Always very soulful, but yeah.
Is Big Al on the ones and twos DJing?
Big Al is not on the ones and twos. He loves YouTube, so we listen to everything on YouTube.
Not mad at him. Yeah, YouTube's good. YouTube's good because you can go all the ones that aren't like exclusive to certain platforms. YouTube has everything, no matter what.
Yeah, and it branches out like crazy.
Yeah, because you can just scroll through it. You can follow up from that.
Yeah.
If you like this, you're gonna like this too.
Yo, you know what? You know what is a fun game to play. Speaking of the side note of that, and especially for now, jump on YouTube some night and go back and forth and battle on music videos. So like you pick a music video and like you got to have a story as to why you're playing it. Like some way that it's like there's like a reason. Like, why am I playing Bill Biv DeVoe right now? Like you got to have a reason. And then like you play it and you both watch it, and then like the next person goes. And of course,
right. But it's got to be like a short.
Yeah. You do like a minute
of why. We can't be like the. You know what I'm about to talk about.
Oh yeah. You can't be like,
night. You got to be on point like Babyface. He's ready. Prepared, has his little,
I got my 30
seconds.
Sentence. That's it.
Or like the low-key shade on Teddy.
His low-key shade game was some of the best talking shit without Teddy having a clue that he was talking shit that I've ever seen. Like,
it was so amazing.
Babyface is so amazing. Incredible.
He's on point.
He's so great.
And Teddy's great too, but Teddy's just always hyped.
Teddy's like, I want to go in the club. I want to go in the club. And I was like, the people like watching this don't want to go to the club. No, we want to be in a lounge.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, though. Like, there was something that I saw in the juxtaposition of how that whole thing went down. I was like, yo, not that I have split personalities, because I don't. I'm just a Libra. Here's the deal, though. I like that Teddy shit. I like that. Yo, if I'm up in the club, back in the day specifically, if I'm up in the club, I want to vibe on that Teddy shit.
Yeah.
But then when I'm leaving the club with my girl, trying to go back and get my baby face love on. Like that's the difference. That's why that battle worked. And I'm glad they figured it out and it worked. But versus is some of the best stuff that you watch on TV from a battle or from
Absolutely.
What do you think though? Because now they want to do Diddy and Dr. Dre. What do you think about that one?
Here's my 2 cents on Diddy and Dr. Dre. I think Dr. Dre will blow him out of the water because I'm a Dre guy 100%. But I don't think it'll even be like it's like apples and oranges to me. Like Dre is music to me. I don't know. Diddy is, maybe I just think of it differently, but like I think of Diddy as like the business side of everything in Bad Boy, and he's a musical. I don't know what the word. I wouldn't call him a genius, but I'd call Dr. Dre.
I feel like he's an entertainer.
There you go. That's what I would call it.
Happen.
So Jeff's gonna defend Diddy. Go ahead.
No, I'm going to defend. But look, I think Dre's just as dope. Dre's dope as shit. Dre might be the greatest producer that walked the face of the earth, other than Quincy Jones. So, but here's my point. Diddy's going to go more entertainment value because that's just how Diddy, like Diddy's energy is.
He's going to bling. He's going to bling.
For sure.
It's very Teddy Riley energy. Like, I got to just dance and do my thing and like, yo, boom. Meanwhile, Dre's is going to be surgical with it because it's Dr. Dre. It's going to be surgical. Like, okay. Yeah. Oh, that was that song. So this is what I was thinking when I heard that song. And boom, he's going to hit him with some fucking Snoop. He's going to hit him with some DOC. Some NWA. And you're going to be like, okay. It's going to work. The juxtaposition of these battles, what I found last night or during the Teddy Babyface was the juxtaposition of like a guy who's more candlelight romantic versus a guy who's more New Jack and like grind on you in a dark portion of the club. It's like it actually works together. Like because you're sitting there listening to whatever Tevin Campbell, I'm ready, and then all of a sudden this dude's playing like I Like by Guy, which is a different vibe, and you're feeling that because as a human being, beings in itself we're two different people.
It's telling the narrative of a night at the club. Am I wrong? Is it not telling the narrative? It's like
right.
Yeah. It's like the beginning of the love. Corey Project. Everybody check that out.
And Teddy's about love, but smashing first.
Who do we think we want to see in this battle? Like in future battles, who do we want to see? And you can open it up to anybody.
I want to see two women.
I want to see Missy.
I was just gonna say Missy and who then? Missy and who? Who's the other? Missy and Queen Latifah. Missy's an alien, man. She's crazy. She's another planet.
This could be interesting, and I bet it's the perfect one. But Missy and Little Kim, only because it's around the same era.
Kim, that would be interesting. Yeah, they kind of were. They were in exactly the same era, really.
But Missy's she's so hip hop and she's so R&B all at the same time. Like, and no one else has that.
What if you did this? What if you did something like Missy and Timbaland?
Well,
right. I was saying Missy can go against dude.
She could cross and beat up some.
But Missy and Timbaland are of the same family.
Work together.
Exactly. Right. So, but I think that would create a situation where,
then you'd have to go Bad Boy. You'd have to go Puffy and Little Kim. Like you'd have to do that because if you're going to go 2 and 2 that are from the same team, then you'd have to go
that right there.
Yeah. Right. See, I think that's dope though, because then you could see the subtle differences between the two too. That would come out.
I like that one right there. Everyone's trying to do Beyonce and Rihanna. Obviously, that would just be like songs, not necessarily their songs versus their songs.
Yeah, we need the producers to. I mean, you could do that, but I mean, B got a gang of hits.
She's got numbers.
So does Rihanna.
That's true.
So does Rihanna. We'd have to, but then you'd have to bring in all those different producers who produced all their different stuff. That'd be very hard to do.
And that's a lot of people.
That's a lot.
But then again, though, let's just say what it is. Who the hell knew that two human beings basically have controlled my love for music since the 80s? Teddy Riley and two people have made me believe what love actually is.
Can we talk about when Babyface called Teddy Riley out on the Janet Jackson song, and it was a remix.
Yo, because it was a remix. I didn't know we were going to be able to play remixes. I didn't know we could play remakes.
But his face stayed the same. Like his whole face is Botox, and it all stayed the same.
Like, it gives it the best delivery.
Expression.
It gives it the best delivery.
He looked like a Zen master. How about when Babyface? Because Babyface went out of pocket too a little bit. I don't want to shit all on Teddy Riley, but Babyface brought out the acoustic guitar and then started singing. When can I see you again?
Dude, and that jam, I'm sorry, like that jam just puts me to the floor. It's so good.
I was like, I forgot what song Teddy played before that. Teddy played Don't Leave Me Girl, I think by Blackstreet, which is a great song too.
Don't leave
Good one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, hit that note, Casey.
Oh, you don't know. I'm a songbird of my generation.
Did not know that.
He actually is though. This dude is all about music.
Secret
What else
singer.
we got? All right, let's wrap this thing up this way.
All right, we
Yeah.
got to wrap it up.
I need you to tell us where we can find the Corey Project,
Yep.
on deck next with the Corey Project, and we're gonna make sure we continue to highlight the work that you're doing.
I am hosting a webinar for the national team girls. It's called Volley On. I spoke about it earlier that we're collaborating, and it's a live webinar and it's open to everybody. And it's for the women that are trying to make the Olympic team. One is already an Olympian, and the 3 others have not yet to be Olympian. I'm hosting them every Friday, and I've like strategically put the groups together as like just having one Olympian, then there's 3 others that have not made it yet, but they're in the mix. And we're actually thinking about the next Friday doing the sitting volleyball team, the Paralympics, because these girls are badass, number 1 in the world, and there is nothing different about them to any of us that play the sport and are Olympians, and their dedication and what they go through and their mentality. So I'm trying to bring in 4 sitting members to do that webinar as well. So it's Volley on Instagram with the Quade Project. You can find it all on the Quade Project. Other than that, every week we have videos, we have pictures. I'm going to have an Instagram takeover starting Thursday from a national team member every Thursday on the Quade Project. And really just the goal is to have all these 500,000 little girls following the Quade Project to get some inspiration, learn from people that did exactly what they are doing. And hopefully I can get some big, media outlets as well to talk about it or talk about my story. And my goal is not for Joe Schmo that doesn't like volleyball to necessarily watch volleyball. The Quade Project really is about the volleyball community, but that extends wide. It's parents, it's fans, it's coaches, it's all the players, and people don't know that that community is huge. But I do believe that there's others out there that could attach to some of these women's stories and become volleyball fans. So that's my goal. That's what I'm looking to do. I wouldn't mind if the quarantine continues, because this is allowing me to push the project a little bit more and people stay focused online. But we'll see what happens.
Dope. Well, we'll get it. We'll push the word out for you as well. I mean,
Thank
we
you.
can probably, I mean, if you're doing stuff this Friday, we can definitely try to get it done by this Friday so we can push it out. And then like moving forward, maybe we can do something, sort of a collab with what you're doing like every week, or with whoever's doing the Instagram takeover. Like maybe there's a way that we can collaborate that together, because that'd be cool too. That'd be fun.
For sure.
Yeah. Dope.
We got to follow Volley On for sure. Volleyon.com or volleyon.org.
It's volleyontogether.org. Their Instagram is either Volley On or Volley On Together.
All right, we'll find it.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll find it.
But everything I post as well. But the registration is through them, volleyontogether.org. You got to register to watch the webinar, but it's free. Last week we had 411 people, which not too bad.
Yeah,
we got a great response. I talked them into doing it once a week. They're like, let's do it every other week. I'm like, you guys, like, people are gonna
Keep people engaged.
Content is king.
But these women are great. Like they know how to speak. They could be great mentors. They're funny. So they listen to me, and I'm thankful for them as well. Volley On, as well as this recruiting JVRA, they're like kind of putting it together because their following is pretty good. So I thought, let's collaborate. So let's all work together. And I think that's really important for the volleyball community to work together. We don't do well at that before, and that's why I don't think we're like noticed as like the biggest sport or one of the biggest sports. I think if we continue to work together instead of compete against each other, we'll reach different levels. So the volleyball community is finally coming together, and I like it.
That's great.
Awesome.
Love
Yeah.
that. Cool. Well, we'll help you push it out. This has been outstanding. Thank you so much for
Awesome.
joining us with this. This has been so cool. Jeff,
Thank
you got
you.
anything else we want to add or any other questions we want to throw at Miss Berg?
Yeah, my last question is this.
Uh-oh.
It's a big one.
I know what you're gonna say.
You have no idea what I'm going to
Don't
say. I don't,
do
have another, I don't have another question for you. You were incredible. Thank you so much.
Where
for taking the
Tiger
time.
at?
I was going to say that. I was actually going to say that, but I decided not to. I was actually going to say that, but I decided not to say it. And you said it, though. So, exactly. We're going to let it live right there.
Love
Thank
it.
you, family.
Thank you, Linz. All right.
Bye, guys.
We'll talk to you soon.
Water project.
Water project. This has been a production of In the Paint Productions with executive producer Bill Boyd, executive producer Nick O'Connell, audio engineer and composer Kevin Rodriguez, and hosted by Jeff Walker and Casey Gutting. Thanks again for joining us.
Oh man, I got these ashy ankles working today. Oh shit.